Good morning. Welcome to Village in Motion. Today is Thursday, March 16th, 2017. My name is Susan Gerhardt, and this morning we're welcoming Ron Taylor, the most important guy on campus, our money guy. Ron is our finance director, and we're happy to have you with us.
Thank you, Susan. Glad to be here.
And thank you, especially this morning. I know you're teaching a class this morning and took a few minutes away from your class to come and talk with us. You've been with us how long now?
Going on 6 months.
6 months. I don't know you very well, and I'd like to know more about you. Can
Sure.
you give us a little introduction? Where are you from?
Sure. Actually, Washington, D.C. was my first home. However, I spent most of my youth down in Tampa, Florida.
In Tampa, Florida. I bet you wish you were there today.
You know what? The heat versus the cold. You have, opposite ends of the spectrum. So I actually prefer cold versus heat. So that's why I'm here versus there.
You're the one.
Aside from that, actually, I did my education in Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Oakwood University. I did my undergrad work, and my graduate work was Regis University in Denver, Colorado. I spent about 15 years with PricewaterhouseCoopers, the accounting firm, and then the last 5 years, I was with CBRE, another consulting firm, and I was managing their healthcare division for facility management for one of their large clients here in the D.C. area.
So that worked you right into managing our facility.
It walked me here.
Excellent. Well, that's great. Well, we're very happy to have you with us. I would be willing to bet that a part of all of this preparation that you had for coming here didn't prepare you for the fact that you were going to be an educator when you got here.
Yeah, very true, but one of the things that's important to me is helping ensuring our residents as well as our staff members can be fiscally responsible. My view is we have to be very good stewards of the residents' resources, and so I think this makes perfect sense to be able to share the knowledge that I have along with my team with our residents and our staff members.
Well, I know this morning you're teaching a class this morning.
Yes, I am.
Tell us just a little bit about that class. Who are your students today?
Sure. This class is called Finance 101, and it's geared to our supervisors and managers here at Green Spring to really help them understand the budget process, understand the profit and loss statements that we use to do our reporting, understanding our performance metrics. So it's really helping everyone really be better managers of their budgets.
That's excellent. Well, I know that over the past few weeks there have been a series of forums that have been a terrific hit, and I think they've been called moving out forums that have been for residents and families.
Correct.
And they have been presented multiple times. Not all of us have been able to attend them, but I think they're going to be offered again every so often, I'll put it that way.
That's correct. So the Move Out forums are really geared to help individuals understand that transition process, whether it's leaving our community to move with loved ones or move to another community, or in the event of passing. It's very important that we have the right financial documents in place and that the wishes of our residents can be carried out. And we've had great success with that forum. Over 800 individuals participated. And it has created a lot of activity for my department where individuals are coming in, reviewing their files, and trying to making sure that they have the right documents in place to make it easier on their family members.
For those of us who haven't been able to attend those forums, can you give us just a quick summary of what we should do to come to your office to say, hey, hello, Marcia, who is your very wonderful front desk person there.
Yes, she is.
Marcia, I'd like to review my file to make sure that the documents are there that need to be there.
And actually, you summarized it perfectly. Just walking into the finance office, you don't have to make an appointment. And typically, if there's someone there, the wait wouldn't be more than 3 or 4 minutes. But we'll gladly pull each resident's file. We'll look at the documentation there and advise either what's missing or what has been dated. And the resident may want to say, hey, I have a new trust or a new will or a new power of attorney, and we can help them walk through the process of updating that file. We'll also help them understand some of the differences between a will and a trust and the limitations that may exist because of those, the types of financial documents that are going to be provided there. And in that instance, and I think our biggest issue is making sure residents understand in their passing, if we only have a will, that their family members will not have unlimited access to their belongings and to their unit, where if we have a trust and there's an individual that's been named as the executor, it gives them unlimited access to their belongings. And I think most residents want their family members to have that. So we really try to guide them or push them down that path.
I'm glad you were able to repeat that information. When Brian Marandola was on Village in Motion earlier this week, he also was talking about that point, and I'm glad for it to be repeated.
Sure.
So for all of us, when we moved in, everything is kind of a flurry of activity, and we're just passing papers back and forth. So this is a good reminder to come to your office now that things have calmed down a little, or if 10 years have passed and we have no idea what happened 10 years ago, to go back to your office and say, hey, is everything in order?
That's correct.
Because who knows what tomorrow will bring.
Exactly.
Okay, good advice. Now, you mentioned you have another forum that's coming up.
That's correct. We are doing another forum called Transitioning to Garden Ridge. And this is a forum that's designed to help individuals as their care needs increase. How do they make that transition from independent living to our assisted living facility here on campus? And it goes through the documentation process, but it also goes through the process of looking at what is the change in the financial commitment. And so it's a very good forum that individuals will have the ability to understand that entire transition process.
So financially, it does make a difference.
Yes, it does.
Things move around, things change around. Yes. And good to come in and discuss that, because at the time that may happen, we may not be mentally or physically in a state where we're understanding it as well as we might at this point in time.
That's correct.
And this is another forum where family members may come? Without
a doubt. And so the forums, there are 4 forums that have already been scheduled. The first 2 are in April, April 5th and April 29th. There is a registration process, so you can stop by the finance office. There's a registration form, and that can be filled out and delivered to us. We do have limited seating for each forum, so we want to make sure that we're not overcrowded and create a situation where it's not as effective. So we are encouraging our residents to register early and to ensure that they can have a seat. And there are takeaways that are given away at the forums, so it's very beneficial for them.
So these are different from, but similar to, in some ways, the move-out forum.
There are some similarities, but there are definitely some differences based on the fact that you're not leaving the community, and so we definitely want folks to understand the difference there.
Okay, that this is strictly talking about movement to Garden Ridge.
Correct.
Which again could happen. Nothing that we can plan for, although we may be in a planning state. We may be thinking, you know, I'm not doing so well here in my apartment, or it may be financially more advantageous for me to live at Garden Ridge rather than trying to get by here in my apartment with I'll say, help that I am hiring to take care of me in my apartment. And this would look at the financial costs of both situations?
That's correct.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah. So we definitely are encouraging our residents to attend because I think it can be beneficial for them all.
Okay, and if we want to know more about the dates and the times, because saying them here, it's hard to write that down quickly enough, residents can contact your office for that information?
That's correct. We'll also be making sure that their flyers put in cubbies, as well as ensuring that through the scrolls here in Village in Motion that those dates are publicized. But again, April 5th and April 29th.
Okay, and your office is located in?
In Town Center, first floor, to the right of the front door office and to the left of the front desk.
And right beside the coffee machine.
Exactly.
Everybody knows where that is.
A strategic place.
Yes. Right, that's important. With the free candy bowl.
That's correct.
That's the most important part of your office.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to talk about today?
Well, one of the things, Susan, I always try to make sure our residents understand. I know invoicing just went out last week, and at that point in time, there's a lot of activity through the finance office relating to charges that have hit the bill. And we want to make sure folks understand that the finance department, while we are the deliverers of the invoice, we aren't the responsible parties for missed charges or charges that are in dispute. And so we always want to direct individuals back to the department or organization that initiated the charge. So if I have a question about a bill for dining, getting in contact with Phyllis within the dining department, or if it's relating to a general service charge, reaching out to GS. So we don't have the ability to remove something from invoice, and we don't even can't identify where the charge came from. Going back to that originating department is the best source.
So go back there to ask the question.
Correct.
Coming to your office isn't going to help.
Unfortunately
I
not.
started to say going to your office is not going to do a nickel's worth of good. So go back and ask those folks to get things ironed out.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Ron, I know you need to get back to your class to educate your staff members and managers. Thank you so much for taking time away to join us this morning.
Thank you, Susan.
And we'll look forward to visiting with you again.
Without a doubt. Thank you.
Okay, and we'll be right back to have a visit with Ron McKay, who is our lead district supervisor. Thank you.